Hi there. Focus. Has anyone been having trouble focusing lately? Yeah, it's really hard. There's so much going on and it can be really hard to focus when we're this distracted. But like you, like me, we still have stuff to do, right? You may still have kids at home. You have to eat. You may have work you need to do, but you're so distracted it's really hard to focus. The other day, I started to write an email first thing in the morning, and then I was like, oh yeah, I gotta change the air conditioning filters, and that led me to Amazon, and then I thought, oh, I really should get that thing, that service to get things fixed, and it led to 20 different things. It was probably around lunchtime that I finally got back to the email. Yeah, that's just how unfocused and scattered we are. And it's okay to be scattered sometime, but if you have things to get done, as most of us probably do, I want to give you some quick tips on how we can improve our focus when we're super distracted. And also an interesting statistic I heard about. It was in 2010, there was a study done about people focusing on a project. They said that people are thinking about something else about 47% of the time. When they're working on a project, they're thinking about something else 47% of the time. Yeah, so that's about half the amount of time you're not even thinking about what you're working on. And that goes for your relationships too. Do you find yourself super distracted too when you're talking to a partner or a friend? So all of these can help you just stay focused and just be a little more present. So that's gonna help your relationships. That should help your work as well. So number one way to focus when we're feeling super scattered, it's to breathe. I know, you think you're already breathing, you think you got it down, but when we're really scattered, we're in our brain. We're thinking a million things. We see something, it's the squirrel, like, what's that, what's that, what's that? And we follow every little trail. So we're way deep into our brain. I think you've heard me talk before, we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And if we chase every single one of them, we're never gonna get anything done. We're never gonna be present. So to get out of our head and to get present, number one, breathe. What breathing does, keeps you alive, there's that, but it also just brings you into your body. Because when we're distracted, we're up here and we're chasing stuff. When we breathe into our body, and when I say breathe, I mean a long, slow, conscious breath into your chest, feeling it, feel it filling up your ribs, and then releasing it, like conscious breathing. Because I know when I'm stressed, I hold my breath, I'm tense, there's no breath coming into my chest. It's all shallow belly breathing, which can make you distracted as well because you're not focused. So breathe into your body. It will take you out of your head. I like to use what I call box breathing with a lot of my health coaching clients. And what that is simply breathing in, a big inhale for 4, and you fill your belly, and then you fill your chest. So you inhale for 4, and then you hold at the top for 4, count 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you exhale for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you hold out for 4. And then you just keep repeating. And by the time you repeat that a few times, it's like, okay, I'm back. It's not gonna solve all your problems, but you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm in a space where I can critically think, and I just feel a little bit better, a little more attached into my body. So love the box breathing. They also say extending your exhale longer than your inhale. That will literally send a message to your sympathetic nervous system that everything's okay. We don't have to run from a bear. We don't have to be on high alert. Everything's okay. And some people like the breath in for 4, hold for 7, release for 8. But you need to do what feels right for you. If holding for 7 makes you hyperventilate, that's kind of the opposite of what we're going for. So breathe in, hold, and then just exhale longer than you inhale. So that sends the signal to the brain, hey, we're good, we're relaxed. And that breath right there will have you return to your assignment like, okay, I'm here, I'm present, let's do this. And that's also good if you're arguing with your partner, your children, whomever. Give yourself a timeout, take a deep breath, and then enter into the conversation, the situation, the event, whatever it is. And you're gonna enter as a different person, I promise. Okay, first thing you're gonna do is breathe when you're feeling really distracted and you need to focus. Number 2 is to set goals. I like to have 2 to 3 goals per day. I try and set them the night before or even first thing in the morning. And you might be like, yeah, duh, whatever, I have goals. But if we don't have something we're setting out for, we chase everything, right? If you don't know, okay, today, I've got to do the bills and I've got to write this thing. If you don't put that down, you're just like, oh, there's the Amazon order, and oh, maybe I'll cook this, or maybe I'll eat this, and oh, look at that Facebook post. We get so distracted because we have no plan, right? So everything seems of equal importance and equal value. And that makes our brain crazy if we follow everything that comes in. That's why I like to pick 2 to 3 goals. Don't make it 75. You're never gonna follow 75, and you might try and follow all of them at the same time, and it's just too much, and you're gonna be frustrated, and then you're gonna be upset that you didn't accomplish anything. So 2 to 3 tends to be good. It depends, obviously, on how big these goals are. Sometimes it can be 1, and it's just some small steps you're taking on this one goal. So have a focus. Have those goals set so that when you wake up, you know, this is what I'm working on today. It doesn't mean you don't take breaks and do other things, but those are your major focuses for the day. Okay, you're gonna breathe, you're setting goals. Timer. A timer is a good idea when you have those 2 to 3 goals to whatever your productive time is. Some people love to knock it out first thing in the morning because they're clear-headed, they're focused. For me, I'm a mid-afternoon gal. That's just when I do all my most productive work. But set a timer whenever it is you decide to work on these 2 to 3 big things. Under an hour could be good. 45 minutes tends to be a sweet spot. Again, it depends on the work, but set a timer for like 45 minutes and just know you're gonna work on this thing for 45 minutes. That's it. And then the timer goes off and then you take a break. Yes, you get a break. You do get a break. It's not possible to sit for 3 hours dead focused on one thing. So make sure you schedule in time for the breaks as well. Number 3, multitasking. Now, ladies, I know we're really good at multitasking. We have to be good at multitasking because we have so much in our lives with work and children and self-care and maintenance, right? It's a lot, and we're good at multitasking, but the thing is, multitasking isn't great, as it turns out. They did a study on multitasking where people would use 2 screens, and those 2 screens could be they were watching TV while texting or emailing or something like that. And they found that people who multitasked like this, parts of their brain were smaller. Yeah, the part of the brain in charge of emotions and decision making, that was smaller in people who multitask. So try, when you have these 2 to 3 goals, that's why it's good to have these goals, try to singularly focus on these tasks as opposed to doing 5 things at the same time. You'll actually get more done, and you'll be able to get to that second task that much faster. They say that when you are interrupted in a task, in a project, it can take upwards of 23 minutes to get back to your original task. If it was me yesterday, it was more like 4 or 5 hours, but at minimum, they say 23 minutes to get back. So you can save yourself a lot of time and be really efficient by just focusing on one thing at a time. Next thing, eliminate distractions as much as you can. Let's talk about distractions. I know there's a lot of distractions going on right now, but distractions are your phone binging and buzzing, all those notifications you get. Even if they're on silent, you still hear the buzz. Turn them off, put them in another room. Just for these 45 minutes that you're giving yourself for the goals, that's gonna let you just be fully focused. Now, other distractions can be people. I know you're working from home, you may have children at home. If at all possible, and I know this isn't always possible, but we try and shoot for some sort of a guideline, maybe you tell people 10 to 12, 11 to 12, and 3 to 4. Those are your work hours or your whatever, prime time hours to focus on what you need. Maybe you put a little sticky note on a door, or just something that people, if they know they have these 45 minutes that they just need to figure something else out, then try that. Let it be known to other people, assuming there's no emergency. I know these are crazy times. So you're gonna eliminate your distractions. And then you're gonna make sure your project, whatever it is you're working on, is broken into small enough pieces. Sometimes we don't start things because we think it's just too much. It's too overwhelming. And then it's 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you think, oh, well, that project is too big. I don't have time this afternoon, when meanwhile you have like 3 hours, right? But you think it's just massive and you can never begin and where to start. And you may only have one thing on your goal list, but if that's the case, you should have tiny little steps that you're gonna take each day, tiny. Because you know what I always say, an object in motion stays in motion. So even if it's this micro step, you're still taking steps. And you may only have a certain amount of time. Micro steps, make it small, make it palatable. Okay, what else? What else to help us focus and eliminate distractions? Batching. You ever heard of batching? Batching is putting together like-minded things and doing those as one. For instance, I'm always telling my coaching clients, batch cook. Sundays are my batch cooking days. What does that mean? I go get food, I get it cleaned up, I have it chopped, I might pre-cook some meats, some chicken, some fish, I might pre-cook some vegetables. I do all of that on Sunday, put that into separate containers so that during the week when it's a little more chaotic and hectic and you're like, oh, I don't have time for a healthy meal, it's all pre-done. So that's an example of batching. Where can you batch projects together? That might be 1 day, a week, a month is bill paying. You put all of the bills together for that. Although I do think you should put that all in automatic payment, but that's a whole other story. Sometimes you got to pay with a check. And then there's things like phone calls. If you have a bunch of calls to make, have a day of the week that you do the calls. You know, you want your brain to be focused. You don't want it switching back and forth between all these different tasks that use slightly different brain power, right? So see what you can do to batch things together. If you have errands, doctor's appointments, see if you can put those all in the same day. So anywhere you can, it's never gonna be a perfect science, but anywhere you can put things together that you know, just, okay, Tuesday I'm gonna do all of my paperwork. Wednesday I'm gonna do my writing, whatever it is, put those together. That will help. That will help your brain as well. It's gonna be easier for your brain. Your brain's like, oh, that's this task, and it just gets into the zone, right? So, batching. The other thing you should do, schedule. Yeah, super simple, but do you schedule the things that you need to do in your life like you do a doctor's appointment? When you make a doctor's appointment, you just make the doctor's appointment and you show up when the doctor's appointment is. But what if you have a goal to write a book or whatever, knit something? Put it on your calendar that, 10 to 12, I'm gonna write 20 pages. Schedule it and it will happen. And I always like to schedule the night before, if at all possible, because that way I wake up in the morning, I know what I'm working on, when I'm working on it. So I don't wake up like, oh, la-di-da, and just see whatever comes across my desk, and I'll read email and I'll check Facebook, and then it's 4 o'clock and nothing's been done. Schedule stuff. Create a deadline. That's another thing. And if you're working from home right now, maybe deadlines are a little looser, maybe everything's just a little looser, right? But when there's a deadline, don't you get stuff done? Are you a procrastinator? Do you wait to the 11th hour and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna get done? Create deadlines for yourself. And if you're working on the book project, maybe it's 10 pages a day, 20 pages, whatever it is that you need to do, create little deadlines for yourself. Because I'm sure you have 1,000 things on your list of things to do, but do you have one that carries over daily, weekly, monthly. I know I have. And then finally, I'm just like, you gotta break it down. I break it down into the small pieces so I can start crossing some stuff off my list. Because who doesn't love crossing things off their list? I love it. I will write something down and then I'm in the middle of doing just so I can cross it off my list because it feels that good. All right, you schedule things, you're creating deadlines. And if you're still feeling super scattered and unable to focus, you gotta clear your head. And if clearing your head doesn't work with the breathing, because that gets you from your head to your body, call a friend, text someone. I'm a big fan of the spontaneous dance party because that also gets you out of your head and it just allows you to release some stuff and then you get focused. Sometimes you got to clear your head in order to get to the project you need to do. But limit it. Don't make it a 6-hour clear your head unless you're going through something really bad. But clear your head so that you can focus. The next thing I want to talk about is visualizing your outcome. What is it that you want to complete? What is it that you want to do? Do you want to eat a healthy meal? Oh, but you just aren't going to the grocery store, you're not cooking or not prepping. Visualize what it would feel like to have that healthy meal for your family, for yourself. Picture it sitting out. Picture eating it. Picture how you feel after eating a really good meal. The energy it gives you. Picture all of that while you're stuck and thinking, I don't feel like going to the grocery store. I don't feel like cooking. Picture how you'll feel after you do the cooking, after you make the healthy meal. How do you feel? How does that make you feel? Versus how you're feeling in the moment, which might be like, low energy, I'm not feeling it. But I know if I cook this meal, I'm gonna feel really good. I'm gonna have more energy. And if I don't, I'm gonna start a shame spiral and be really mad at myself. So try and visualize what it will look like after you've completed your goal. If you're still feeling distracted and unable to focus, another tip I like to say is you gotta make sure your mind and your body is nourished. If you're not eating well, you will not be able to focus. If you're eating junk food, if you're eating sugar, it is really hard for your brain to focus, like scientifically hard for your brain to focus. So try and make sure you're eating really good food, healthy food, real food, food that looks like food, food without labels and a bunch of names you can't pronounce, because that food is gonna fill you up. Healthy fats, that's actually really good for brain health, all of that. And make sure you're taking care of your body. You know, exercise, getting those endorphins going is huge for your brain health. It's huge for your focus. I always exercise first thing in the morning. I don't drink caffeine, but I do my exercise because if I don't, I am slow and lethargic all day and my brain never seems to turn on. And if I get stuck on a project, I often just go take a walk around the block because sometimes that just moves the energy that I need to move, and then it just gets me a little more clear-headed when I'm back. And my last tip for helping you focus when you're just feeling super scattered is just to give yourself some time and space. This is crazy time. It really is. You know that. So I want you to just be gentle with yourself. Instead of pushing, take the time. And there may be underlying issues that you have that you're not addressing that need to be investigated. If you're pushing something down that really needs to come up and needs to come out, you know, seek the help of a professional. You know, I'm a certified health and nutrition coach, and I help people feel lighter in their mind and body through diet and mindset and nutrition and ways to balance meditation. Because once you get all of those things working together, being in your body is actually a happy place, and you can focus and you can do all the things that you like to do. So if you want any more information on all of this, you can click the link and read the article. And I hope you all have a great and focused, present, happy day. Bye.